and welcome to a new episode of Bring It Up. It's me, Chiara.
And me, Sara. Welcome back, guys. How are you?
The topic we are going to discuss today with you, dear listeners, is juicy, or what am I saying? Rich. Is a very rich topic because we are going to discuss cultures, especially for the experience that second generation migrants have in their background. Let's introduce the topic with the definition that the European Commission gives to this term. And it says that is a person who was born in or is residing in a country that at least one of their parents previously entered as a migrant. And as a definition, we can discuss about it already, but as a definition, I feel that somehow it leads to some challenges, to some paradoxes, because if you are living in a country, you are not a migrant, but your parents are, but you're still considered a migrant. But at the same time, you're living there, so you know the culture, you speak the language, you possibly have been to schools in that place. So I feel that the question can bring us to many different topics and interesting insights. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I think the best way to analyze this topic is to introduce our dear guests for today. So today we have 3 people with us. It's a very busy discussion today. So I want to introduce you to our listeners. So we have Magdalena with us. Hi, Magda. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. And you?
It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank
Then
you.
we have Yannis. Hello, Yannis. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I hope you're good too. And everyone who is listening to us.
We're good. And then we have Weam back with us. How are you?
Hi everyone. Thanks for having us.
So I want you guys to introduce yourself a tiny bit, you can tell us more about yourself, your stories, and why we invited you in this discussion today. So who wants to start? Okay, Magdalena, I saw your hand. Okay, you can start.
Okay, so my name is Magdalena. I think you invite me because I'm half French, half Greek. I was born in Greece, in Athens. My mom is French and my father is Greek. And I was born in Athens and I lived 5 years in Greece. And after I came back to France. And now I'm again in Greece. So, yeah. My parents met in Greece. My mom is French. She was living in Paris and she decided to travel and leave everything in France to go in another country. And she chose Greece and she stayed 15 years in Greece. And she met my father in Santorini. So it was not exactly holidays. She was already living there. And she met my father and I came. And I have these 2 origins now. So I'm living normally in France, but I'm coming in Greece every year, like every summer. I worked also for summer seasons. I'm staying for a few months or sometimes 1 year. So and now I think that because I came in Thessaloniki for volunteering, I think I will try to stay and find a job here.
Perfect.
Wow.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Yannis?
Yes, I can continue. I am Yannis. I am Albanian. My parents are both Albanian, but they came here in Greece after the collapse of the communism regime. And then I came. I was born in Greece. I was raised in Greece, and everything that has been going in my life is here in Greece. I was going to Albania only for my vacations, but since when I was very young, so from as I remember myself, 5 years old or 6, I was going to Albania for the 3 months of the summer and the Christmas holidays, and I have a strong connection with my relatives there. Even though I have a lot of cousins here in Greece, my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles, everyone who I love the most is in Albania. And now, due to the COVID and the situation, I cannot go there, and I really miss them. And I'm afraid that I will not be able to catch up with them when I will meet when I will meet them face to face. But yes, I remember when I was younger, I really wanted to go and live in Albania. But now I think that Albania is my vocational destination. It's not my living one.
Okay. And last but not least, we have Weam. If you want to introduce a tiny bit of your story.
Yes, sure. My name is Weam. I am 25 years old. My parents are Egyptians, and I was born and raised in Italy. So as my two brothers and my sister. So basically, we have spent our whole life in Italy. But as Yannis, we always, went back to Egypt for holidays, and I wouldn't say all of us, but maybe me and my younger brother in particular have a strong connection with this country, with Egypt, and we also like to communicate, to keep in touch, to go out with our relatives, and so we can say that Egypt has always stayed in our hearts. And actually, now I'm living in Egypt because I got married last August. So now I'm living here in Cairo. I left Italy, and what to say? My parents left this country in 1992 because of not very political issues, but I would say more economical issues. They both had a job, but, they always heard that Europe was, a guarantee. And so they decided to move, to leave Egypt and, to start this new adventure in Milan. And here it goes. I mean, they started their family there, and I could say that they have had some ups and downs. And of course, it was very hard for them at the beginning. And then even after I was born and all my brothers, were born, they always had this idea, this constant, alternative to Italy. And this was to come back to Egypt one day. But the problem is that, of course, the situation here has become worse and worse by the time. So in the end, they decided, to keep Egypt as a holiday, country, and to stay in Milan.
Okay. So now that we know a little bit more about you, I wanted to ask you guys, as Chiara was saying, the European Commission,
Yes.
define you basically as second generation migrants. But do you feel like a migrant?
I'm feeling just lucky, I think, because we have the chance to have two origins. So I'm not feeling so migrant, even if it happens to me one time, maybe not racist thing, but something just about my last name, Kokonesis. So yeah, I just feel lucky. I don't know, and I think nowadays it's all the world is like this. I don't know, every people have some origins. So I don't know. It's multiculturalism, I will say, and not maybe migrant or yeah.
I think that I couldn't agree more with what Magdalena said. I feel very, very lucky because it's very good that I know that my mother tongue languages are two languages that they have no similarities with any other, Greek and Albanian, and I've never actually felt like a migrant. Even though when I was that my parents sometimes they faced racism or anything, I've never got discriminated or anything about my origin. From other things, yes, I did, but not because of my origin. Probably because I'm also blonde with blue eyes and I don't look like all the other Albanians. I don't know why, or because of my accent, but yes, I would feel like very, very lucky and not migrant.
Well, as for me, I would say that I agree and disagree with them, because of course I feel very, very lucky, and I have always considered, like being born and raised in another country as a privilege, especially when you were supposed to live in a country that is, like could offer you less than what you actually got. But I would say that in many times, especially of my childhood, I would say that I felt actually like a migrant, but not because I wanted to feel this, but because the others made me feel like this. And I would say this is especially for my surname, because my surname now is Nafea. But actually, before getting the citizenship, my surname was different. So I had to change it in order to get the Italian citizenship and to change my passport from the Egyptian to the Italian one. But my previous surname, which is my real surname, Nafea is I would say the family name, the big family name. And it was Gaballa. And you will see that at the end of the surname, you have the word Allah, which, immediately makes you think of Islam and, like Middle East and this kind of things. So I have, felt really as a migrant, but because of other kids and also adults, like mocking me and making me feel like I was an alien. And maybe, Yannis said, I have blue eyes, I am blonde. Well, I am the opposite. So I have curly, dark hair. I have no fair skin. I have brown eyes. So, as soon as you see me, you say you're Moroccan, you're Egyptian, you're whatever, but of course you come from the Middle East. So that was, the main thing that makes me feel like, yes, make me saying, yes, I felt someday I used to feel like a migrant.
I just want to say something like, we are talking like migrant is something bad, but I think it's not something bad at all. So, I mean, I agree that some people are seeing this as, I don't know why, but something bad or something that we had to be scared of, but it's really not the case. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have both cultures. You live like in between. You have two languages. Maybe in my case, I have two different visions because, you have Middle East and you have Europe. So you have two different mindsets. And as I said, two cultures, two languages. So it's amazing. But I think that in some countries, the mentality is so closed that they still see it as a threat and not as like a privilege to have somebody that has such a rich culture.
And also, I just wanted to add one thing, refer to what Weam said at the beginning of her answer when she spoke about her parents moving. I was thinking about it lately, and I believe that when you as parent leave a country where you feel that your children cannot have the same opportunities that they could find somewhere else, so you decide to leave everything and all the stability you can have there, seeking for something more, I believe that this can be considered one of the purest acts of love, because you are going probably to have to face uncertainty, and for a long time probably it's going to be hard to find a job. You don't know if you will be accepted, if you will like the culture you are entering into, but that your children will benefit from your sacrifices. And I consider it something very deep and so pure.
About what you just said, Chiara, is so strange for my story because when my mom went to Greece, she had a really nice job and everything was perfect, but she was just not feeling good in her mind, like, so she needed something else. So she decided to leave, but she went to Greece and she didn't knew at all the language. Like, she really started from the beginning. And she decided to go back to France, but for me. So it's just for me because like she, in her mind, it will be easier, for example, to go to school, or like also like they broke up with my father, and we were like both of us with my mom there, but all my family like were in France because I didn't had any contact with my Greek family. So she just thought about the fact that, okay, maybe if something happened to me, it's better to move in France. So there we have all the family and Magdalena will be with someone, you know? But this is super hard also because my mom is like, I think she's really Greek. She's not French. She's really 100% Greek. And it was super hard for her, like, to come back to France for me. So she did it like because of me, you know? But now I know that she's just waiting for, to stop the work and spend all the rest of her life in Greece. But for this, yeah, I want to say that it's really a huge love, like, I don't know how to say, but it's about love that she did this. And it really matters for me. And I understand also, but sometimes I'm sad because I also wanted to know how will be my life also in Greece, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about your identity. For example, how you can feel maybe both, for example, in your case, Magda, both Greek and French. But also, I think it can be the case that maybe someone can't feel like she or he is part of the cultures that he or she inherited from the parents or from the hosting country he or she is living in now. So I wanted to ask you about the way you feel about your identity. I mean, for example, Magda, if you feel more Greek, more French, half and a half, and why you feel like that. And again, after we're going to listen also to Yannis and Weam on this.
It's a super hard question.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. First of all, I was born in Greece, so I think that this is something that matters a lot to me. I speak better French than Greek, so sometimes I can not be able to really, I don't know, like feel Greek 100%. I think I'm closer to the way of living of Greece. Like I like this, I prefer this way of living. Like I think in France people are more closed-minded. Like I don't know, they are sad. I don't know how to explain, but in Greece everything is more shiny, or people are talking to you even if they don't know you. I love this kind of way of living, and I think I feel more close to this way of living. But in France, I love a lot of things in France also because I spent most of my life in France. So I don't think I will be able to answer to this question, but like Greece is my heart country, and I will say Greece maybe, but I can't also say that I'm most Greek than French, because in France I spend most of my time. I did my studies. I have a lot of friends. I have most friends in France rather than in Greece. So it's a little bit difficult to really make a choice. But I think I just think about the fact that I was born in Greece, and this is a huge matter, like for me. Yeah.
Okay, and Yannis, what about you?
This is a really tough question, actually, because we have, even though I was born in Greece and I was raised in Greece, I have Albanian documents. I have the Albanian citizenship, not the Greek one. So for the country, I'm still Albanian, and I will remain Albanian, probably. But as I said, because I was raised in Greece, all the culture and the behaviors and everything that the tradition that I was raised was the Greek one. But every time that I go in Albania, especially when I was younger, I was really thrilled of the things that I was listening from my grandparents and the traditions, because here in Greece they are Orthodox, and in Albania, actually, my family is not that. They're not believing so much in God or anything due to their past communism influence, but they're doing some Muslim traditions. So I was really thrilled, as I said, of the things that I was watching and the things that I was learning from them. And if I had to choose, because sometimes they ask me, if you had to choose between Greece and Albania, which one would you choose? I can't answer. But for example, at the football match, when Albania and Greece is playing, I support Albania.
Well, that's a tough one.
When it comes to football, here the real roots come up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Make people decide quick. Think of a team.
Yes, I support Albania. So I think that Albania is like the nostalgia for me. It's like the place, the home that I will never go. I'm like homesick for Albania. And I can choose between Greece and Albania, I would say once again. And in which one do I see myself more? Because I have all the Greek knowledge. I was going to Greek school. I've graduated from a Greek university. My Greek is way better than Albanian, because I don't talk Albanian too much here in Greece, and because I'm not going to Albania anymore, I'm not talking Albanian. So my knowledge and my skills are Greek, but my heart is Albanian.
Wow, that's so cute. And Weam?
Yeah, that's definitely a tricky question. Since I was a kid, every time I came back to Egypt, the Egyptians that knew I was Italian always told me like, oh, okay, let's start from the very beginning. Do you prefer Italy or Egypt? So basically, you're making me living a flashback. And I don't know the answer. But because, Italy, of course, as in every country, you will find the good and the bad people. You will find the close-minded and the open-minded. But if I have to speak for myself and to speak about my history and my personal experiences, I would say that I wasn't always very lucky. As I said before, especially for my childhood, like starting from primary school up to the beginning of university, I think I was very, very, very unlucky. Because I could say that 99.9% of the people I met were racist and very close-minded. So, and I would say that the fact that Italy as a country hasn't always allowed Muslims to live their faith and, to give them their space, to maybe to perform the prayer, or I don't know, even celebrating or greeting the Muslims. I feel like I cannot really say I'm Italian 100%, because Muslims are very stuck to their religion. It's a great part of their identity. So when you do not allow them to feel free as Muslims, you basically are like suffocating part of their identity. So maybe if Italy allowed me, to perform my prayer, not looking at me like I'm doing, I don't know, maybe black magic, And if people didn't, mock me because maybe I was fasting during our Ramadan month and so on, I could have said Italy. But the problem is that, as I said, it suffocated a great part of my identity. And, my religion and my faith is very important to me. So I'm not really able to say I'm Italian 100%, but I love Italian language. Even, grammatically speaking, I have always loved language. I love the culture. I love the songs. I love food, of course. But here in Egypt, people are very close-minded. But I'm happy to say that teenagers are starting to be more open-minded, to feel more tolerant and respectful. But still, the problem is that whenever I came back to Egypt, the people around me made me feel like I was too Italian for them. So I was too Egyptian or too Muslim for the Italian people, but I was also too Italian for the Egyptian people. So you feel like, the ping pong ball, you keep going, left and right, and you don't know where to stay. So I really don't know what is the answer. I mean, I feel half and a half, and sometimes I like to say, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm the citizen of the world, and that's it, because I really cannot figure out what could be my real, citizenship.
Yeah. And also, meanwhile you were all speaking, I was thinking that when you're an adolescent, you have to answer to the question, where do I belong? Who am I? Etc. And it's already hard when you have just one culture to refer to. Think about balancing two different cultures, two different backgrounds, and trying to find your own balance in this storm that is going on in your brain and your body while you're growing up. I feel that it's something very hard to pass, but once you pass over this period of time, I guess you are more aware of your own identity. I don't know. I have this feeling. I don't know, guys, if you actually feel like this or not.
I wanted to add something that Weam said, that she said it in her last sentence, that yes, it is really weird that it's not only you to decide who are you and which identity in which identity do you belong, but it's also the others. Because as Weam said, for me, it was the same. In Greece, I was Albanian, and in Albania, I was Greek. So you go somewhere and they define you as something different from what you are or what you want to be. So it's really weird, actually, and it's not something that you can make the decision. If I didn't have this connection with Albania and my relatives, probably I would say Greek, or I would feel more Greek. My sister, for example, she's 13 years old. She was born here in Greece, and she has the Greek citizenship. So she's Greek from our family. She's the only Greek that we have in our family, and she doesn't feel Albanian at all. She says every time that I'm Greek, I'm not Albanian, and she can't even speak Albanian. She barely understands, but she can speak Albanian because she has lost her connection with Albania at all. It's not like she doesn't want to see her grandparents or go there. Actually, I think that she doesn't want to go there for vacations, as me. But it's like what you take also, and what you and what your things around you are doing, because now it's rarely used for the Greek and the Greek schools to have Albanians and have migrants from different countries. When I was a kid, I was the only one Albanian, and now in a classroom of 25 children, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th are Albanians. So or from different countries around Europe, and now that there are coming also people from the Middle East and Africa. So this multiculturalism is not it's not a big thing. It is. They are facing a lot of we have a lot of racist incidents, unfortunately, here in Greece. But it's really bad to say it's only for against the people of color and not for the others. But yes, answering the first question, because now it's a bit sad, the conversation. I turned it a bit sad. Answering the question of Chiara, yes, the identity is really fluent, and we can't decide on our own, because there are people around us pointing us at as one thing sometimes.
Yes, and I also wanted to ask you, because I was reflecting on it while Weam and also you, Yannis, were talking. For example, I wanted to know if you had some kind of influence from your parents. I mean, your parents come from another country. I mean, you were born here in Greece, Yannis, but your parents are from Albania. So I wanted to know, for example, in your case, if your parents really insisted somehow, let's say, in passing the Albanian culture and tradition, like keeping alive the Albanian tradition in the house, for example, I don't know, in specific holidays, or I don't know, because I feel like many times parents try to force children to follow their own culture, but the children were born in another country and were raised and went to school with other children in a country that has sometimes a totally different culture, and maybe they don't feel like they are part of their parents' culture, but the parents don't want to lose the original culture, so they try to force it on their children. So, for example, I'm asking you, Yannis, now, but if also Magdalena and Weam want to add something about it.
In my case, my parents actually they're a bit open-minded in this situation. They never forced me as a kid to be Albanian, or to speak only Albanian, or to follow the Albanian tradition, and whatever it comes to Albania. They helped me very much, because I was going in Albania since I was, as I said, very young. Without them, I was going alone to my grandparents, because they were working. It wasn't like something I will go with. Yannis will go to Albania for the summer to learn how to be Albanian. It was because they were working and I had no school, so I had to stay somewhere. It's not like they were forcing us. Of course, they are following the Albanian traditions, and in the house, every time when it was an Albanian tradition or anything, they were cooking Albanian, and we were listening to Albanian songs, and we were telling Albanian history and Albanian stories, but not because they wanted me to be Albanian 100%, but to get to know this culture and this and the language, and to love it. And I did, which I did actually. Yes, and the only thing that probably they were telling when I was younger, they were saying, like, your wife will be Albanian. You are not going to marry Greek. You will marry an Albanian girl. And I was like, yes, I will marry a girl firstly. Yes, but this is they were not very strict on that. And with my sister, my father now, because he has like a big love for his daughter. He's like, she's Greek, I don't mind. She doesn't want Albania. It's like sometimes he says to my sister, okay, but you have to go to Albania because your grandparents are there and all your relatives, and you have to love Albania because it's my country and it's our country. And then my sister says, no, I'm Greek 100%. And my father says, okay. So they're, as I said, open-minded in this field.
If I can say, in my case, it's a little bit strange because I grew up only with my mother, so I didn't had so much this Greek side, with my father, and I think just is that my mom fell in love with Greece, and on another side, she didn't force me, but I think she wanted to I don't know the word in English, but yeah, transmit me like this love of Greece. So she was like, even if we came back to France, she wanted to go in Greece every year and spend time there. So she took me with her, and like this, I was going every year in Greece again. And but for example, when we were living in Greece with my mom, she was speaking to me in French because when we were living in Greece, she wanted to give me this French also culture and the language, of course. So, but when we came back to France, because I was used to speaking French with her in Greece, I really stopped to speak Greek because it was for me like so normal to speak with her in French. So I lost a lot of my Greek language, and she didn't force me, but she told me like it will be nice to take some Greek classes and maybe try to find a level that you need to have, like, because we're going every year, even for holidays. I mean, I was just not talking because I was so afraid to make some mistakes in Greeks. And I wanted also I was born in Greece, so I want to also know, of course, the language. And I will say her thank you, because thanks to her, I was able to take Greek classes, and now I'm teaching Greek, for example, and I feel it amazing, and I could never imagine that this will happen. But yeah, if you come to my mom's house in France, you have the Greek flag everywhere. You have the pictures of Santorini, everything. So I think she's really Greek, and maybe more Greek than me, really. But it's thanks to her that I have this Greek also tradition and culture, even if she's French. So yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I think your mother is like the perfect example that proves that you can be from legally from a certain country, but if you feel like you belong to somewhere else, no one can say to you, no, you're French, because if you feel like you're Greek because you fell in love with Greece and you love the culture, the language, or whatever, I feel it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, you had to interview my mom, I think.
Next time she will be our guest.
One of the biggest superpower that people having two or more cultures on their background have is the fact that you can express yourself in two languages, right? So it's up to you to use it whenever the situation makes you feel that you want to say something out loud, but you don't want the other people to understand it. So you use the other language. And this is
amazing. I'm doing this with my mom all the time. When we're in Greece and we want to say something about someone else, we're speaking in French, and in France, the opposite, in Greek.
Yes. This is real superpower to me.
Yeah. So, and what about you, Weam? What about your parents? They influenced you in some way in what and who you are now in your identity?
Well, I would say that my case is very different from the previous two. Because both my parents and especially my father have always had this insane idea and aspiration to grow kids in Italy, but with a completely Egyptian mindset and set of believings. So they basically wanted to raise Egyptians but in a different country. And this is impossible, of course. Everyone knows that, your kids are going to be influenced in some way, by the language, by the culture, by the mentality of the place they grow up in. But my father, for example, when we were kids and we came back, as soon as we came back from school, the Italian school in Italy, we had to sit down and learn Egyptian language, the Arabic, I mean, and read, like Arabic stories and read the Quran and so on. And they wanted us in the house at home to speak Arabic. And even now that we are grown ups, they claim and expect us to speak only in Arabic at home. Sometimes my father, when we start chatting in Italian, he says, no, just, stop talking in Italian and speak in Arabic, because I don't know, but my father has always felt this refusal with Italy, which made us always wonder why he came to Italy. I mean, like, if you don't like Italy, okay, just go back to your country. But whenever he comes back to Egypt, he says, like, okay, I don't feel safe in Egypt. I don't have the same facilities or services, opportunities that Italy is giving me and my kids and my wife. So because of this, we have always been influenced by my father in particular. And I would say also because my father is very close-minded. I mean, like, my mother is open-minded. She likes Italy. She speaks Italian. She goes out with Italian people. She deals with them and so on. She does a lot of charity in Italy, but my father is the complete opposite. I mean, like, he doesn't want to deal with Italian people. He wants us to do what Egyptians do, to think like Egyptians. And when, for example, my older brother, thinks and speaks with an Italian mentality, my father gets on his nerves. And I would say that this has influenced me, but in the opposite way, in the sense that I have always seen okay, when I grow up, I don't want to be like this. So it was completely the opposite. I took it as a very bad example not to follow. And I would say that the results of this pressure was different according to the person. I mean, like, for me, I learned what I don't want to be when I grow up. But for example, my older brother and my younger sister, and especially my older brother, grew up hating Egyptian culture, hating Arabic. My brother came here to Egypt just for my wedding, and he didn't even want to come. I mean, like, he told me, I'm not coming because I hate Egypt and I hate whatever is related to it. So yeah, I would say in my case, I like Egypt, I like Arabic, I like Egyptian culture, but okay, yeah, it's part of my identity, of course, but I don't think I'm going to do the same with my kids one day. Like, they should be free to choose what to follow. Of course, I can show them what the Italian or the Egyptian or whatever culture is, what are the, like the celebrations, what is the language, what is the culture, but I'm not going to put any pressure on anyone, because, it could help sometimes, but sometimes it could even, do something worse and destroy someone's, confidence in their selves and identity.
Can I ask you a question, Weam?
Yeah, sure.
If you have children, what language do you think you will speak first, like with them?
Well, I would say Italian. I don't know why, but I'm going to tell you something very silly. But I got a cat like 4 or 5 months ago. I live in Egypt. I got a cat in Egypt. But whenever I speak to my cat, I speak in Italian. I don't know why. So I don't know, but whenever I think, even as you said, like sometimes you don't know, you think in French or in Greek, you don't know which language to choose. But I don't know, if I have to say in first position, I would say Italian.
Okay, and do you think you will try to maybe speak a little bit of Arabic also, or really not at all?
No, of course, and it also depends on where I'm going to live, because I'm planning now to move to another country. But I think I will teach them Arabic, not of course in the same strict way as my father's, but I will let them know that like they have in the end Egyptian roots, willing or not. They like, I'm not saying blood, but they have even like physical Egyptian appearance. And I would love them to carry in their hearts part of Egypt, but I'm not saying that Egypt will be their identity, their language. And the more language and the more culture you have, the better it is.
Of course, yeah, I totally agree. Thank you.
Also, I have another question for you. I wanted to know,
Sure.
I feel like for men in Italy, at least, for many young people coming from North Africa or Middle East in general,
Yeah.
their parents come from those countries, but were born in Italy, and they maybe don't feel like they belong to either Italy or their like country of origin, their homeland, let's say, of their parents. Sorry. I wanted to know, for example, if for you religion was something that helped you to find your own identity, because culturally, let's say you are a mix, because you are a mix of your parents' culture and the culture of the country your parents are from. But you're also a mix with the Italian culture, because you were born in Italy and you were raised in Italy. So I wanted to know, for example, for you, if religion and Islam, in this case, played like a big role in defining who you are right now.
Well, that's a very interesting question. I would say that my religion and my faith are like, are a tool that helped me building a bridge between Italy and Egypt. And I know it sounds strange, because when you think about Islam, you always think about, the East, Middle East and North Africa, as you said. No one says immediately, oh, Italy and Europe or America and so on. But especially when I grew up, when I started university, I started little by little to be more involved and to be more interested in my own religion. So I'm not saying about what you have to do, but more about reading, researching, and finding out, those things that no one knows. Okay, that those common things that no one knows. So like this ignorance brings people to judge and to be racist. So I started to read a lot and to get closer to my religion. And well, for example, in our book, in our holy book, in the Holy Quran, there's a verse that says that there's the prophet talking with non-Muslims and saying, you have your own religion, and I have my own religion, in the sense that you have your own, you are free to do whatever you want. You are free to say whatever you want and to think whatever you want. But I have also my own religion, so I have my freedom. I respect yours and you respect mine. So verses and stories and quotes like this helped me a lot to build a bridge between bridge between Italy and Egypt, in the sense that it helped me respect Italians, Christians, or even non-Christians, and it helped me also to get more stuck to my religion, to love it. And I sometimes I try like to explain to those who don't know what Islam is about. So I don't know, even sometimes I think about destiny, and my name in Arabic means harmony and peace. So I feel like after many years, and when I grew up, I felt like my name was carrying a huge meaning, in the sense that maybe by studying, researching, and knowing more about my religion, I could actually bring peace to some people, and bring peace and harmony between people who actually don't know each other's on this aspect. I mean, like, they maybe hate each other's, or maybe they are far away from each other's because they don't know each other. So ignorance can divide people, but maybe like knowledge and peace and respect can bring them together.
That's amazing, Weam. That's really, really amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know if someone else wants to add something. Otherwise, I think Chiara has a last very interesting question to ask you.
Yes, guys. This is the question I always ask, and I still don't have enough information about it. The question is the following one, if you're ready. In which language do you dream?
Because it says a lot about you.
Yes.
It says a lot. I think it's like the football match. It really come up the real roots, your real roots. So think about it, guys.
Wow, for the question. I think it depends on the dream. When I dream, my life here in Greece, I dream in Greek. But when I dream, for example, my grandparents, or I dream something that is happening in Albania, I dream in Albanian. Yes, when I was dreaming, when I was living in Croatia for some months, I was dreaming in English, and I was thinking in English. So I think that it depends on what the dream is about, and with whom are you in the dream. When I'm alone, I don't know. I mean, if my dream is just for me and I am alone somewhere, or I don't know. I've never thought about that. Actually,
for example, you said that you also dream in English, which is not your mother tongue, it's neither Albanian or Greek. And I was saying to Chiara the same thing. I mean, I'm Italian and my mother tongue is Italian, but most of the times, I mean, Chiara is also my roommate, so we share the room, and I speak a lot when I sleep. And most of the times I'm speaking other languages. I'm speaking either English or Spanish, probably because I feel Latin American inside. That's why I dream in Spanish. English, because I'm so used to use this language now with all my flatmates. So maybe that's why. But probably, maybe I have like far away, distant Latin American roots, and I don't know about that.
Your ancestors.
I'm from Latin America.
Especially on that you said that you talk when you sleep. My father also talks a lot. He shouts sometimes when he's sleeping, and he's shouting in Greek sometimes, even though he doesn't know Greek so well. And he was in Albania for 30 years, so he sometimes speaks in Greek. So I think it depends on the dream. But great question.
What about you, Magda?
Yeah, I agree with all of you. Like, I think it comes more about like the place you are also. I mean, I was not speaking English before coming. I was not speaking so much English before coming here in Thessaloniki and like share all the building with you guys. So when I started to speak so much in English, I was dreaming in English. That's true, really, because your mind is just like exchanging, playing with all the languages. So, and English was the language that I was speaking the most. So I was starting to dream in English. But it happens to me I think most of the time in French, because it's the language that I know the best, and I spend most of my time in France. But now that I'm in Greece also, and that I will speak in Greek with local people, or I don't know, when I go out, etc. I dream also in Greek. Like, it depends. I think it depends. I will not dream in Greek when I'm in France, for example, because I'm not speaking the language. I think it's more about what language you speak this moment, and if you're speaking this language a lot, or if you're used to speak this language or no. Like, I think your mind after is really like choosing, and maybe also about the dreams, where the dreams are happening. If it's in Greece, I will speak in Greek. If it's here in the house, I will speak in English. If it's in France, I will speak in French. Yeah.
And what about you, Weam?
Well, according to the story she said about the cat,
Probably Italian.
yeah.
Well, for me, it really, really depends on the dream, in the sense that when I dream normally, which means that it is actually a dream, I dream in Italian. But most of the time, when I have nightmares in Arabic. So I don't know why. You know, in the last month, I would say, I have had a lot of nightmares, and I don't know why, but you know, most of them are concerning my father. So as you can see, I have a very strange relationship with my father, and in all my dreams, which are nightmares, actually, I argue with my dad, and I argue with my dad in Arabic. Always, and I scream and shout and do do everything and speak and think in the dream in Arabic. So I don't know why, but when I have, you know, like good dreams and I feel relaxed, I always think in Italian.
Well, guys, I think with this last question, we can conclude our episode for today. I wanted to thank you again for being with us and for telling us your experience and something more about your life. So, well, if you want to add something else, otherwise, I think we can close our little talk for today.
I want just to say, Falinderit Shom Chenadijua.
Sounds amazing. I don't know what it is, but
I said thank you very much for listening.
Weam, you were saying something, I guess.
I wanted to say that you know, Yannis said that sometimes when he watched like football match, he feels sometimes more on one side than the other one. I think that there really are some things, some, you know, events or aspects of our lives that bring us more to a direction than another. Like, you know, for example, sometimes I really feel Egyptian, but you know, yesterday I was watching TV with my husband, and he's Egyptian. He has always lived here, but he hadn't watched La Casa de Papel before, you know? So we were watching it together. And of course, you know, there are some Italian reminders like the song and of La Resistencia and so on. And, you know, when they sing, I really feel Italian. I don't know how to say it, but I feel so Italian. And he even told me yesterday, I feel like you belong more to Italy than to Egypt. So, you know, it's like that. But for example, when you have a football match for the African Cup, and I see the Egyptian team playing, and they sing the national anthem, I really feel Egyptian. So I don't know. I think there are some things in our lives, happenings, events, I don't know what, but they sometimes, you know, show what side we in what side we really are. But of course, that doesn't mean that we are 100% one or 100% another one. Like I always like to say that life is not black or white. You have an infinite scale of grays in the middle. So we don't forcefully have to be something, like precisely. We can be anything and many things at the same time.
That's so beautiful. And you, Magda?
Well, I totally agree with what Weam said. I don't know. I remember one European Football Cup. It was in 2004 that Greece won against Portugal. And it's horrible, but because I'm living in a small village in France. My mom is living in this small village in France. And it was this match, and we couldn't believe that Greece went to the final, because Greece and football, sorry, but yeah, basketball okay, but football. And we were so happy with my mom, and we put the Greek flag outside in the door. But I mean, we were the only people with maybe origin, like a stranger origin in our village. And everybody was like, you will never win, Greece, they are so bad, blah, blah, blah. And when we won, like I say we, you see, when we won, we were out with the flag with my mom doing all the round of the village with the Greek flag. And this time I felt so much Greek also. But when we won in France, the World Cup, the last World Cup, I felt also super French. So yeah, I can't choose really.
Yeah, I feel like football really messed up with our minds.
I was actually thinking to include football in the description for the episode because it come up so many times
Yes.
that it's part of the conversation.
Okay, guys. So once again, thank you for being with us. And well, as we always say,
Bye!